If I could ask everyone to please rise. The troops and packs are entering now. Welcome, Scouts and Scouters, families and friends, members of the community, and those who participated in the Carillon Restoration Campaign. At this time, I'd like to ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Scout salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I ask our guests to be seated? It's my pleasure to welcome you here. My name is John Ebersold, and I serve as the Heart of New England Council Walker Memorial Coordinator. This is the 53rd Walker Memorial, and you'll hear a bit more about that as part of the program. At this time, I would like to ask representatives from Home Troop North Brookfield, Troop 257, to lower the flag on the main flagpole to half-staff. Scout salute. A little higher, guys. Two. And now I'd like to ask Ryan LaRoche to please come forward and read the Walker Memorial history.
This year marks the 53rd anniversary of the dedication of the Ronald E. Walker Scouting Memorial and Walker Memorial Garden by Norman Walker to honor the memory of his son. As a boy, Ron had been active in Troop 128 chartered to St. Joseph's Church in North Brookfield. Because both father and son shared a love of scouting, and because scouting had brought them so close to one another, the idea of a living scout memorial was born. With Mr. Walker providing the design and supervision, construction started in late 1969. The garden was dedicated on Memorial Day, May 25th, 1970. The Heart of New England Council of the Boy Scouts of America gathers on the Saturday after Memorial Day each year to honor the departed members of the scouting community. The light-sized statue of the Boy Scout was carved in Vermont. It represents all members of the scouting movement, past, present, and future. Through the generosity of Mr. Walker, perpetual maintenance of the Memorial Garden is assured.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
I would now like to ask Joe Klimovich of the Walker Memorial Committee to share some Walker Memorial memories and to dedicate the newly refurbished Walker Memorial Carillon.
Thank you, John. Today, we dedicate the new carillon chimes to the memory of Mr. Norman Walker, the creator of this scouting memorial. Norman Walker was a humble but successful chicken farmer, a civic-minded individual, a volunteer firefighter, and the driving force behind what was to become Pathfinder Regional Vocational School. I first met Mr. Walker as a young scout in Troop 128. He generously provided a campsite on his property where we enjoyed memorable camping trips and shared jokes and stories around the campfire. Stories like the legend of Chief Walkalong, which to this day I still think must have been Mr. Walker. Mr. Walker's generosity extended beyond scouting. When he discovered that no hospital in Worcester had the dialysis equipment his son Ronald needed, he purchased and donated the equipment, establishing the region's first renal dialysis program. Later, in memory of his son, Norman created this memorial garden as a lasting tribute to all Scouters. We gather here today on the 53rd anniversary of the very first Scouting Memorial Service on May 25th, 1970. Excuse me. The original Memorial Garden design featured a carillon tower with a rather sophisticated mechanism for its time that prompted the chimes to play when someone entered this circle. However, over time, the chimes fell silent. A year ago today, we made a commitment to restore the chimes, and with tremendous community support, we have fulfilled that pledge. A complete list of the more than 100 donors to that project can be found in your program, and we are forever grateful to each of them for enthusiastically embracing this project. The chimes once again play whenever someone enters the circle, as I'm sure you all heard today. More than 700 hymns and patriotic songs are built into the system, which is programmed to mark the hour and to chime at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. and play taps at 7 p.m. before the system turns itself off for the night. In closing, I would like to publicly acknowledge several individuals who played a crucial role in this project. Brookfield electrician Joel Berthium and his crew for their dedication and expertise in installing the electrical system, the carillon chimes, the new laser mechanism, and spotlights on the memorial and the flagpole. That was a special request of the Cemetery Commission so that they can leave the flag flying overnight and have it lit. Jeff Bezdek and the team at Vox Audio Visual Bells of America, for their design and technical support. Jeff Tassi of Tassi Oil and Crowley Fuel for his generous matching gift in honor of Bob LaFlamme and Crowley Fuel's 100th anniversary, which helped us surpass our fundraising goal. Lisa Jaguar Berthium for her early encouragement and support. The Walnut Grove Cemetery Commissioners, Kirk Burnham, Jason Petritis, and Mary Kolarski for their assistance and cooperation. Ed Bemis of Bemis Farms Nursery for his guidance and generous support with the new plantings you see. My good friend Skip Nielsen for his help in planting the shrubbery and perennials. And the Walker Scouting Memorial Committee for their unwavering support of the Carillon Chimes Project and their commitment to preserving this important annual tradition. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And I would like to publicly thank Joe for all of his efforts in spearheading this project. He took the bull by the horns, and as you can see, got the results that we were all hoping for. So, Joe, thank you very much for all that you did to bring this dream to fruition. I would now like to call Matt Gerada, who is the Program Director for the Heart of New England Council, to say a few words on behalf of the Council.
Thank you, John. Just want to say thank you, everybody, for allowing me to come out here. Unfortunately, our Scout Executive, Mark Barbanitz, was delayed as he is traveling today. So he did ask me to step up here and talk to you all for a couple words. Earlier today, I was actually at an Eagle Court, and it occurred to me how much scouting is a community. It truly is. Because today I saw a scout not only talk very publicly about how proud he is, but he also had his parents, his former scoutmaster, leaders who have left the program, members of his church, and they were all coming to him to say, how proud they are for all of his accomplishments. And I look out here today, all amongst all of you, who probably all have the same kind of different walks of life, whether it be within Scouts, outside of Scouting, that it touched you in some capacity, just much like the program touched young Walker. And I hope going forward, all of our programs, all of our Scouts can continue going out there and just having incredible experiences in changing the lives of our youth and making better citizens and humans and adults so that they can continue making the world a better place. So I want to thank you all for coming down here and supporting this everything that is the Walker Memorial. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. At this time, I would like to call forward our chaplain, Timothy Josty Jr., to say a few words from the chaplain, and then to continue on with the readings of Psalm 23 and a Scout's Prayer. Tim?
So I actually thought about changing my words this year, and unfortunately one of mine and many of ours good friend is on the list this year, and I can think back to our scouting career and how many years we spent sitting around the campfire together as kids and both as leaders of both a Boy Scout troop and a Cub Scout pack, and I thought that there was no way I could change my words for today. So losing someone we love is never an easy thing to deal with. But remember, they are with us always in our hearts and in our memories. There is a special way that I like to remember those that we've lost from our scouting family. I like to think of it as a campfire, them as a campfire. As I look at a campfire burning, I always think of the little sparks that fly up and drift from here to there as our cubs. full of energy. The fuel of the fire is the rest of us Scouters burning brightly, creating the light. But the best part of the fire that keeps us going are the glowing hot coals. They can rekindle a fading fire. They help to nourish us by being the best part of the fire that can be used for cooking. And they are the part that keeps us warm. I like to think of these as those that we have lost. In the fires of our heart, the memory of the loved ones who we have lost, those that we have lost, glow brightly. The thought of them can warm our hearts, brighten our lives, and nourish our souls. So I ask the next time you sit around a campfire, take a moment to look into the coals. You may see the spirit of the ones we have lost burning bright. And most definitely, have a marshmallow toasted over those coals so that you can remember the sweet times that we had together. If everybody could prepare for prayer as you see fit. Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And a Scout's prayer. We have hiked along life's pathway, our packs upon our back. We have pitched our tents and rested, here and there along the tracks. We have used our compass wisely to guide us on our way and hope to reach the campsite of the great Chief Scout someday. We have tried to be trustworthy, kept our honor high and clean. We have been as loyal as any to our country and our queen. We have done our best at all times, kept our promise, been prepared, and hope our good deeds please him when at last our souls are bared. We have lightened others' burdens with a smile along the way. We have kept our hand in God's hand, walked beside him day by day. And when our span of life runs out, we make this gentle plea, may we sit around his campfire at the final jamboree. Amen.
Do you have a copy? Okay.
Of course.
Of course.
I'll show you afterwards what got printed from your email.
At this time, Michelle McCrillis will assist in reading the Scout Memorial Honor Roll, and we'll share a little bit of information about this year's honorees.
Ryan Anderson.
From Millbury, Ryan spent 12 years in scouting, joining Cub Pack 109. We're here in the Arrow of Light. He moved on to Troop 109, where he became an Eagle Scout. Highlights of his scouting career include attending the 2010 100 Years of Scouting National Jamboree at Fort A.P. Hill, a 75-mile canoe trek at Northern Tier, a cross-country high adventure to Colorado, and being elected and inducted by his fellow scouts into Packagug Lodge 525 of the Order of the Arrow.
Clarence Bachand.
Clarence was a U.S. Army veteran of World War II and a longtime member of both the VFW and American Legion posts in Charlton. Clarence was involved with Charlton Troop 165 for over 50 years. He was a Silver Beaver Award recipient, which is the highest award that can be bestowed on a volunteer at the council level, with the former Mohegan Council. He was also involved with several other youth-serving organizations. Clarence believed that if children can be involved in group activity and can feel part of their community, when they grow, they will participate in the life of the town as adults. If you start with the youth and build on them, they become better citizens.
Elva Blake.
Elva was a Cub Scout den leader with her sons Ronald and Stephen.
Donald Carter.
From Leominster, Don was very active as a scout leader and trainer for over 60 years, and he received numerous awards for his service.
Richard Cole, Jr.
Father of longtime scouter Richard Cole. Richard was scoutmaster with Troop 109 in Millbury for many years. He was responsible for instilling a love of scouting in his son and many who knew him.
Alan Comtois.
Al was a longtime scouter with Troop 257 in North Brookfield and a member of the commissioner's staff for the former Massasoit District in Mohegan Council. He was a good friend to many of us, and he was always willing to help out whenever he could.
David Dill.
From Holden, Dave was a lifelong scout and scouter who earned the Eagle Scout rank in 1956. He was awarded the Silver Beaver in 1993 for his distinguished service to Mohegan Council. After retiring, Dave continued his volunteer service as a member of the Friends of Treasure Valley, where he welcomed and inspired others.
Jesse Fimian.
From Brookfield, Jesse was a cadet at the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs at the time of his passing. He was a former scout from Troop 161 in Sturbridge. His infectious smile and zest for life were contagious, and he will be sorely missed.
Joseph Fitzgerald.
Joe was a longtime scouter with both PAC and Troop 142 in Warren, serving as den leader, assistant scoutmaster, and scoutmaster. His sons, Joe Jr. and Douglas, are both Eagle Scouts. Joe also served as a unit commissioner with the former Massasoit District of Mohegan Council.
Richard Dick Flynn.
A U.S. Army veteran from Worcester who served during the Vietnam War, Dick was a Boy Scout troop assistant.
Marianne Gallagher.
From Worcester, Marianne volunteered as a den mother when her sons were Cub Scouts.
Michael Gary.
From Gardner, Mike was a lifelong scouter. He became the scoutmaster for Gardner Troop 6 in 1994, serving almost 30 years in that position. Mike was a district chairman and a member of the Nashua Valley Council Executive Board for over 20 years. He was a vigil member of the Order of the Arrow, and he was involved in countless Order of the Arrow events and training programs. Mike helped guide and mentor hundreds of scouts over the years, instilling in them his commitment to community service and servant leadership.
Reverend Dr. Paul Kennedy.
A former Mohegan Council president and Silver Beaver Award recipient, Paul was very involved in the Worcester community, exhibiting a fervent compassion for others and championing worthy causes. He served on numerous executive boards, and among others, he received the Irving Yearot Award from the Age Center of Worcester, the Citizen of the Year from the Worcester Rotary Club, the Worcester Telegram's Isaiah Thomas Award, and on 3 occasions, the Key to the City of Worcester.
Robert Kimball.
From Southbridge, Robert loved the outdoors. He was a leader with Boy Scout Troop 135.
Patricia Cusick.
Mother and mother-in-law of longtime scouters and district volunteers, Pam and Russell Tavares from Troop 161 in Sturbridge. She was very proud and supportive of her Eagle Scout grandsons, Nick and Eric.
Lorraine Kwiatkowski.
From Southbridge, Lorraine served as a Cub Scout, Boy Scout, Brownie, and Girl Scout leader for many years.
Eugene McKay.
A U.S. Army veteran from Oxford who served during the Korean War, Mr. McKay was a Scoutmaster with Troop 120 in Oxford.
Kathy McMillan.
Kathy was a longtime volunteer with PAC 138 in Spencer, serving as a den leader for her three sons, Adam, Alex, and Austin. She and her husband, Kevin, were also involved when the boys joined Troop 201. Her son, Alex, is an Eagle Scout. I had the pleasure of working with Kathy for many years at FlexCon. She will be missed.
A. Robert Bob Mandeville.
Bob was a Boy Scout with Troop 160 in his youth, achieving the rank of life. He was the proud grandfather of 2 Eagle Scouts. He was very involved with the Jimmy Fund charity golf tournament at Cohasset Country Club, helping to raise over $1 million over the years.
Joseph Bill Marco.
A U.S. Army veteran and Purple Heart recipient from Oxford who served during the Korean War. Bill was a scout with Lester's Troop 125 in the 1940s.
Ronald Marsh.
As a young man, Ron was a member of the BSA, attaining the rank of Eagle. As an adult, he served as Scoutmaster for Rutland Troop 141 for over 10 years, mentoring many Rutland Scouts. He also served as a member of the Troop Committee. In his retirement, he enjoyed getting together with the Friends of Treasure Valley at Treasure Valley Scout Reservation on Wednesday mornings.
You okay?
Yep.
Robert Mayo.
From Rochdale, Bob was a former Scoutmaster and committee member with Lester Troop 125.
Andrew McCrillis.
The son of longtime Scout volunteers Paul and Michelle McCrillis, and the brother of Eagle Scout Josh McCrillis, Andrew was a member of Troop 238 in East Brookfield, where he attained the rank of Eagle. I had the pleasure of being his Scoutmaster for many years. Andrew attended the 1889 National Jamboree Fort A.P. Hill in Virginia. He was a Brotherhood member of the Order of the Arrow. As an adult, Andrew became an assistant scoutmaster with the troop and a den leader with PAC 148, as well as serving on the district commissioner's staff. He assisted with the Explorer Post, was sponsored by the East Brookfield Fire Department, where he served as an EMT and firefighter for over 20 years. Andrew was Wood Badge trained. He will long be remembered for the twinkle in his eye and his sense of humor.
Smartass. E.W. Pete Pedersen.
A U.S. Navy veteran from Worcester who served during the Korean War. Pete was the Central Massachusetts U.S. Naval Academy recruiting and information officer for 37 years, mentoring high school juniors and seniors through the academy application process. He was a longtime Scoutmaster and committee chair with Worcester Troop 9, and he mentored many people in his Scout days.
James Parker Rice, Jr.
Parker was a U.S. Navy Air Corps fighter pilot during World War II. A dedicated scouter, in 1953 as Scoutmaster, Parker and his troop attended the National Jamboree in Irvine Ranch, California. He became a commissioner and president of the former Nashua Valley Council, and in 1992, he received the council's Distinguished Citizen Award.
Marcos Rios.
Marcos was an Eagle Scout from Southbridge. He was loved and cherished by everyone whose lives he touched.
Albert Solanas, Sr.
father-in-law of Scouter John Jack Jovan Jr., and grandfather of Eagle Scout John Jovan III of Southbridge.
Daniel Sharkey.
Dan was a member of Sturbridge Troop 161 in his youth back in the 1960s.
James Sutter.
A U.S. Army veteran, Jim was the father of former Sturbridge Troop 161 Scoutmaster Bruce Suter and the grandfather of Troop 161 Eagle Scout Christopher Suter.
Pauline Talisman.
From Southbridge, Pauline was a Cub Scout den mother, a Brownie leader, and a Girl Scout leader when her children were young. All of these individuals being honored today and those we have recognized over the years are bound by a common thread involving their commitment to service to others. We thank them for their service. We'd also like to offer our condolences to the parishioners of the First Congregational Church in Spencer who lost their church to fire yesterday. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome, John.
At this time, I'd like to ask Scouts from North Brookfield's Troop 257 to move the memorial wreath from the carillon to the Scout statue. Thank you, gentlemen. I would now like to ask Walker Memorial Committee member Bob LaFlemme to please lead us in the singing of Scout Vespers. The lyrics are actually in the program.
This is a song that's often sung around campfires as they're starting to wind down and people are becoming quite introspective and scouts are preparing to get in their sleeping bags and go to sleep. Softly falls the light of day as our campfire fades away. Silently each scout should ask, have I done my daily task? Have I kept my honor bright? Can I guiltless sleep tonight? Have I done and have I dared everything to be prepared?
Thank you, Bob. This time, I'd like to call forward Jason Dumas, Scoutmaster from East Brookfield, Troop 238, to read Baden-Powell's farewell letter. Baden-Powell was the founder of Scouting. Thank you, Jake.
The following message was found among Baden-Powell's papers after his death. To Boy Scouts, Dear Scouts, if you ever seen the play Peter Pan, you'll remember how the pirate chief was always making his dying speech because he's afraid that possibly, when the time came for him to die, he might not have the time to get it off his chest. It is much the same with me, and so, although I am not at the moment dying, I shall be doing so one of these days, and I want to send you a parting word of goodbye. Remember, it is the last you'll ever hear from me, so think it over. I have had a most happy life, and I want each one of you to have a life too. I believe that God put us in this jolly world to be happy and enjoy life. Happiness doesn't come from being rich, nor merely from being successful in your career, nor by self-indulgence. One step towards happiness is to make yourself healthy and strong while you are a boy, so that you can be useful and so you can enjoy life when you are a man. Nature study will show you how full of beautiful the wonderful things God has made the world for you to enjoy. Be content with what you have got and make the best of it. Look on the bright side of things instead of the gloomy one. But the real way to get happiness is by giving out happiness to other people. Try to leave this world a little bit better than you found it. And when your turn comes to die, you can die happy and feeling that at any rate, you have not wasted your time, but have done your best. Be prepared in this way to live a happy and to die happy. Stick to your Scout promise, always, even after you have ceased to be a boy, and God help you to do it. Your friend, Baden Powell.
Thank you, Jason. For the last several years, we've had our violin player, a dear friend of mine, Hunter Put, perform Amazing Grace. Unfortunately, he was unable to join us today, so as is the case, I'm jumping in. Where's the road crew when you need one, right? I know, I'm just teasing. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, that hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils and snares, I have already come. This grace that brought me safe thus far and grace will lead me home. When we've been here 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Thank you.
Yep, there's your roadie.
Okay. I would now like to ask you to join me in singing Taps. The lyrics are in the book under the Scout Vespers. Day is done, gone the sun, from the lake, from the hills, from the sky. All is well, safely rest. God is nigh, far away, bugles play, sound the taps for the close of the day. Night has come, gone the sun, day is done. I'd like to ask the scouts from Troop 257 to please raise the flag on the main staff, the main flagpole to full staff. Scout salute. 2. As has been our custom at this time in the ceremony, we ask the unit flag bearers to come around the circle where we will present them with streamers for their unit flags. After you've received your unit flag, continue on around the circle and return to your positions. And it's just the unit flags. We don't need the American flags. Come on, you're an Eagle Scout.
This is complicated. I'm going to let you fix this after I'm done, okay? I'm not tie a knot, but you can fix it when you get back. All right? I'm not going to tie a knot. All right? You good.
All right. Way to go, team.
I went on already, he needs to warm up. Do you need a lap?
I didn't even tie a knot because I said you're going to have a couple of inches.
I'd like to thank all the units that came out today. I'd like to thank the families and friends, the scouts and scouters, the folks who were generously donated to the Carillon Restoration Campaign, and in particular Troop 257, my speakers, Ryan, Joe, Matt, Tim, Bob LaFlemme, Michelle, Jason, and the folks that are doing the Cracker Barrel up above, Dave Hardy's and Ken. Also, particular thanks, the North Brookfield Cable Access, Corey, Jake, and your whole crew for providing the sound system and filming. It will be on North Brookfield YouTube channel shortly. So appreciate them doing that every year. I'd also like to thank the town of North Brookfield and the Cemetery Commission for allowing us to hold this event. Maybe next year we can turn the heat back on. It's been so warm the last few days. It's a big surprise. I was worried about the rain, right? I wasn't thinking I needed to wear my winter coat. So anyway, good sports all. Thank you very much for your support and for coming out to do this today. Appreciate it. This is an annual event. It's historically held on the Saturday after Memorial Day, so next year it will be Saturday, June 1st. So with that, I would like to ask the Troop 257 to lead the procession and the scouts out. And please join us at the shack up above where there's a Cracker Barrel, some snacks, some drinks. And for those of you who are here for the first time, we have a Walker Memorial patch. And we don't. It's awarded the first time you attend. So, yeah, and we have. I have a few down here, and they have some up above. And also, if you didn't get a program, would like a program, or if you'd like an additional program for family and friends, I have a few down here, and I know they have some up above. So, again, thank you very much for coming out and spending this afternoon with us. It's a worthy thing that we do, and I hope you all felt that we, how all of our scouts and scouters, how important you all are to us, and to our past, to our present, and to our future. Thank you.
I've done winter camping. This is just not. So we got to do some calisthenics here to get the blood flowing.